There's a reason ancient farmers produced rich harvests long before synthetic fertilizer became a household name. When you study old agricultural records, diaries, and field practices from Europe, Asia, the Middle East, and early American settlements, one pattern appears again and again. They relied on manure, but not in the raw form most people think of. They used a specific trick, a process that transformed manure into something far more powerful than the nutrient salts in modern fertilizers. For about a minute, think of the challenge those early farmers faced. They couldn't pour nitrogen or phosphorus out of a bag. Every bit of soil fertility came from real biological processes. If the soil died, their entire community suffered, and yet they consistently maintained fertile fields for hundreds of years without stripping the land bare or burning out the microbes. When I tested their method myself, I finally understood why their crops survived droughts, poor seasons, and overworked soils in ways modern fertilizers can't match. This trick wasn't simply spreading manure on fields. Ancient farmers knew that raw manure could burn plants, attract pests, introduce pathogens, and even ruin soil structure. Instead, they treated manure like a living culture. They combined it with carbon-rich materials like straw, leaves, or bedding, then partially rotted it down in pits, covered mounds, or deep trenches. They didn't let it fully compost, nor did they apply it raw. They aimed for a sweet spot where microbial life was active, nutrients were stabilized, and the organic matter was just starting to break down. What they created was something closer to a fermented, microbially charged soil amendment that modern fertilizers can't replicate because synthetic nutrients simply feed the plant, while this ancient method feeds the entire system. Now, the reason the ancient manure trick outperforms synthetic fertilizers is really rooted in biology rather than chemistry. You see, modern fertilizers push growth by giving plants fast-release nitrogen and phosphorus. It works quickly, sure, but the soil itself doesn't actually improve. Year after year, relying on synthetic fertilizer leaves soil compacted, microbially weak, and, well, prone to erosion. The ancient manure method, on the other hand, activates fungi, bacteria, and earthworms. The half-fermented mix becomes a food source for soil life, which in turn releases nutrients gradually and builds structure. When I dug into a bed treated this way, the soil had a loamy, sponge-like texture that held moisture evenly. A neighbouring bed treated with synthetic fertilizer produced green plants at first, but the soil underneath turned crumbly and dry, collapsing into dust as soon as I loosened it. Understanding how ancient farmers prepared this material is crucial if you want to apply it correctly. The process usually began in winter or early spring, when manure was at its freshest. Farmers collected it along with straw bedding or chopped-dried plants. They piled it into low mounds or trenches and covered it lightly with soil or straw. This prevented nitrogen loss and created the ideal temperature and moisture balance for microbes to begin their work. After a few weeks, the mixture heated, settled, and darkened. At this stage, the manure had lost its sharp smell, the straw softened, and the texture became crumbly rather than sloppy. Ancient farmers never waited until it was fully composted. They wanted active microbial life and partially decomposed fibres. To apply this method today, you can replicate the same pattern in your garden or containers. Begin with fresh or slightly aged manure mixed with carbon materials such as straw, dead leaves, or shredded stems. Build a small pile, saturate it lightly with water, then cover it loosely with soil or, an old tarp to prevent nutrient loss. Check it weekly. When the pile warms, shrinks slightly, and loses most of its odour, it's ready. This may take anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks, depending on temperature. Once it reaches that stage, you can incorporate it directly into your soil by digging shallow trenches along your planting rows or mixing it lightly into the top layer of your beds. For container gardening, just blend a small amount into homemade potting mixes, or place it as a thin underlayer beneath seedlings so their roots reach it slowly. The biggest difference you'll notice compared to fertilizers is how long the improvement lasts. Synthetic fertilizers give one season of boosted growth and then leave the soil weaker. The ancient manure method transforms the soil for years. Fields in medieval Europe and ancient China were managed with techniques like this for centuries without ever needing chemical supplements. When I repeated the method in my own garden, I found the soil from last year's manured beds still black, rich and full of worms. That's because this method builds structure rather than extracting nutrients. It stabilizes nitrogen instead of flushing it away. And it encourages deeper root penetration, which helps plants survive dry spells. Another overlooked advantage is disease resistance. Plants grown in biologically active soils develop stronger immune responses. Their leaves thicken, their roots deepen, and their cell walls strengthen. Historical accounts describe farmers using this method to recover fields after crop failure, restoring fertility quickly without burning or fallowing the land. Modern gardeners can do the same. If you have a bed that has underperformed for years, applying this ancient method can revive it far more reliably than dumping chemical fertilizer. If you're looking for sustainable, long-term soil health that mirrors what ancient farmers achieved, this manure fermentation trick is still unmatched. It improves structure, boosts microbial life, supports steady nutrient release, and builds a living soil that gets better each year rather than worse. If this guide helped you understand why the ancient manure method still outperforms modern fertilizers, make sure you subscribe to Hydrohaven and share this video with fellow growers, historians, and soil enthusiasts who want to build gardens that last for generations.